Hello everyone, my name is Relax and Panic, and this is another reaction to Oregairu. It is episode 9, and you know what to do. As always, if you want to see the reaction itself, just go down into my descriptions, follow the links, replace the parentheses dot parts with real dots, and enjoy. Once you've done, feel free to come back here and hear my thoughts about this episode. So see you soon. For those that came back, welcome back. Now, let's see. I wrote down quite a lot this time. I mean, there was an interesting episode. There was a lot in it on different levels and about different characters. So, while we mainly followed Hiki and Yui, a lot of what happened, especially in the second half, is about Yuki and what's going on in her life and her relationship, partially at least, to the other two. So, as I mentioned during the reaction already, that's a complicated triangle forming there. And the big sister of Yuki put it very clearly on the line when they sat on this bench. And she asked, so is this, how did she say it? Is this an affair? Because affairs are not good, you know? And Hiki said, no, that's not an affair. So the thing that was about to form there, in my opinion, was Yui. He said, it's not an affair. And then she said, so that's a real thing. No, it's not that either. Which, by the way, was an incredibly hard and harsh thing to say while Yui is sitting next to you. I mean, that surely hurt her. So he's kind of denying that there's anything. But in the end, this is a problem here forming for the next episodes, I think, for possibly the series in general. You have two girls who, I think, both in their very own ways, are about to fall in love with Hiki. Who are very different. But both very, in my opinion, both worthy of his love. And it doesn't matter what he does, I feel bad for the other one. So that's a typical problem in a triangle. Unless you find a solution that works for everyone, there's always one standing alone in the end. So, but let's see where we started. We started off that we were close to the summer, a break. So they were about to have holidays, which they skipped, by the way. They haven't shown it in this episode at all. So we started off before, and when the episode ended, it was after the summer break. So unless they will do like a jump back into it, which I don't think, they just skip the breaks because it is not important for the story. And he said something like, I want 2 more months. So I asked myself if he wanted 2 more months of school. I think it was clear that he has to work during summer break, but they didn't go there specifically. And I'm not sure what he wanted more 2 months of. Maybe we will learn about that in the future, a little bit at least. We had Yui's dog in the house, and whysoever Hiki had a translator for dog speak. I'm very sorry, the last 2 weeks are not the best for me, health-wise. So they had the dog of Yui there, and his little sister watched after it, but in the end, it's Hiki as well. And when Yui picked it up, it was very nicely done, this set up of a date, and you could see that it was not an easy one for Yui. She struggled with it for a moment to do it. She stopped at the door, and then she pushed through and said, I want to go to the fireworks. I mean, in the end, she was asking him out. She was setting up a date. Sure, the little sister helped, and they threw a lot of sticks at him, so he gets it. And yeah, well, they set up a date for him. You can't deny that. And that's why I'm a little bit sad for Yui, because although it went good on many occasions, on many moments in the date itself, in general it was not really successful, you know? I mean, you really have to give it to Yui. She asked for the date, she looked incredibly pretty, so she did everything she could to be nice to his eyes, to make him feel good. There were some moments where they were pretty touchy without wanting it directly, but there were moments where both of them blushed in the train. So it clearly would have had the option to be a really good date. And then as it is, there were multiple things that kept them struggling. So sure, one thing is Hickey is always like himself, so he's not an easy one to go after something like that. So he tried to move away from that. But then there were moments where he just, out of his inner self, and that's why I say he's a good guy, did the right thing, like getting this apple for her or stuff like that. So he showed that he can be the nice guy that would be worth a relationship. But then there were the other girls that stopped them in their tracks and made him feel uncomfortable, and stopped the option there to do something together. Yui said sorry for that later on, by the way, so she was aware that this was a problem for him. And the main stopper, the main problem to say so, was the big sister of Yuki. So, I mean, Haruno, I think is her name, on many ways put a stop in there. They could have only done it more clear if she would have sat between Hickey and Yui, which they didn't do. But in many ways, the seating position on this bench was fitting as well, because Hickey was in the middle, Yui was on one side, and Yuki's sister was on the other side. So she kind of is there in position for her little sister. And that's kind of where Hickey is. He's between those girls. And Haruno pretty clearly, I mean, she said that in the past already, that in her opinion, Hickey is the love interest of her sister. And she is not denying that at all. She's putting that out clear there. So by talking about that and problems in the family and what's going on, she stopped every chance of a romantic development there for Yui. Because on the one hand, you take the mind of Hickey out of all of that into a totally different thing, approach of things. You change the whole subject. You're there as a bystander, so you cannot feel as free as you are normally. She put the conversation about Yuki. So Yui herself will think about that as well, and she made it clear that Yuki might be, or even is, interested in Hickey. So being someone who's a friend with Yuki, you should feel bad about going after the same guy. I mean, if you're friends, and there is that's from my perspective, you know, I have male friends, and there's a girl I like, let's say, and I am getting aware that another of my friends is going after the same girl, in this kind of way that we are both like, oh well, we like her. So what do you do? I mean, that's really, it is a problem, and it doesn't matter how you act, in the end you feel bad. Because either you say like, let's talk with my friend about that first, should I or should I not, who loves her more, or stuff like that. I mean, how to equate that? There's no chance, you know? So if you are like, let's play fair, let's give him chances, or stuff like that, and then the girl chooses him, you feel bad because you're an idiot, because you didn't push it. But if you push it and you just go after her and say, hey, this dude is a grown-up, he has to know what he's doing. If he wants her, he has to go for her. So I will do the same. If you do that, then you feel bad when you get her, because you feel like you just rolled him over, you know? You just gave him no chance, and you feel bad because he's a friend. So there's no easy solution for any of that. When love is involved, friendships are a problem. Always are. So that's the thing. So Hickey is in the middle, very fittingly by the picture as well. We had some nice comments from him, as always. So he talked about himself being a nice guy, otherwise he would have destroyed the world already, due to the things that happened to him. Well, I mean, talking about an egomaniac and stuff alike, I see where he's pointing to, but it's a bit too much, and we all know that. But okay, so I'm a nice guy because I did not destroy the world yet. a normal guy would have done that by what happened to me already. Well. My. We learned a bit about... oh yeah, there was this moment, I wrote it down. Oh yeah, my mom told me not to be picky, or teach me not to be picky. That line is so destructive. I really had to keep myself together there. I mean, what the heck? Wow. Just thinking about saying that to someone who asks you if you like him or her. Just think about that. There is a person. I mean, he said it to the big sister about her little sister. But just think about how that would feel to your face. You are there. You're going to someone you really like, and you say, "Hey, I really do like you. Do you like me?" Something like that, you know. And the answer is, "Well, I was told not to be picky." Wow. Smashed. That's it. Goodbye. Wow. Playing it down on a completely new level. Great. That sentence was a burner. Just fantastic. We had the last moment with Yui. That was a sad one. I mean, clearly, I'm skipping the Yuki part out there. That's the last thing to talk about. The moment with Yui where she, in my opinion, was about to confess to him that she likes him more than just a friend. I'm not sure if she would have said something like love, but it felt to me like she, out of her speech, that he rescued her, he saved her, even with his negative ways. She was about to open up and tell him, I would like something more than just a friendship. I think so, it felt like that. And then her mom called. So talking about bad stuff happening at this day, this was possibly number 3. First was the girls, then was the big sister of Yuki, and now it is her own mom. So I don't know, I really have to feel bad for Yui there. And I am pretty sure this is not something that will change very soon. I mean, this kind of series, I feel like they will go around this edge all the time. And that's a harsh thing. I don't know, we will see. So that was bad for her as well. And then, I mean, this was before summer break. And we start after summer break. So there are a lot of weeks between. What happened in this time? She went the last meters alone. And when we were in the school, we had the meetup of Yuki and Hiki. But we haven't seen Yui at all. So I don't think something bad happened in the streets there. I just hope it's not, because that's a bit too much, you know? But I asked myself how Yui worked out this situation for herself. I mean, she was about to do it. She was about to say it. So that she didn't press this in the next weeks is strange. So the question is, did she suffer, you know, kind of laying in her flat in her room and crying her eyes out, bailing her eyes out all the weeks? Or what happened then? That's the interesting question now. Because we haven't seen her. So I'm waiting for her in the next episode to pop up, hopefully, or some information about her. What's going on. And from this we go to Yuki. So, about Yuki. Yui, being the one that possibly very likely is in love with Hiki here and wants to have a relationship, told him that if Yuki would ever be in danger, have a problem, stuff like that, that Hiki would go and save her as well. That he would, she even kind of made him promise to do that. He did not really promise, but she kind of asked him to promise it to her, that he would help her and save her if needed. So once again, being aware that this other person is a possible love interest for the one that you love, and then still asking him to help her if needed. That's generosity. That's an inner beauty and being stronger than normal. And I really have to give that to her. And I don't think she even thought about in this moment if there might be a problem coming out of this anywhere. So, being a good person. And as we all know, stuff like that happens to bite you in the back. So, on my experience in life, there are moments when I generally try to be a good person. I know I'm not perfect. Definitely not. I in general try when I'm able to think about what I do, I try to go with the nice approach, with the one that everyone can live with, where I think that everyone is getting the best out of. Not mainly me. It's like, which option is everyone able to work with, to live with? And from those options, the best one for me as well, sure. But there are moments when you're like, I could do this and I would be fine. Rest of the world, it doesn't matter, you know? Or there are these options where you are, I could be okay with that. And everyone else could be okay as well. That's the one I try to go for. It's not always the one I choose, because as every human being, I am an egoist as well. So, however, my experiences are when I tried to be nice in the past, mainly in situations that were about the heart and about love, about romance and stuff like that. I stand to my with my decisions, but they were not the best for me, if you know what I mean. So stuff like having someone you really, really like, and you realize this person loves someone else, and you just say stuff like, well, can't change it. If you love, then you have to go. Not in this way as it sounded now, but in a more positive way, like no hard feelings. And sure as hell I suffered from that, because I can't change my feelings there. Still think it was the right decision, but it hurt like hell. So seeing that she's doing something like that, I can see connections. So that's why I like Yui. However, for Yuki, she is very secluded. She's very drawn back from her feelings, I would say, at the moment. I'm really sorry, it's buggering me as well. And we learned a lot about her and her family this time. So we learned that her mother is extremely pushy. The mother of Yuki, while the father is working in the government, the mother seems like to be the one that is pulling the strings. Seems like to be the one that is in power in the family. So her mother forces everyone to do as mother wants. Mother knows best. And as the big sister, as Haruno said, her mother is more frightening than Haruno is. So, and by the way, the comment from Hiki was fantastic there. So that tells you a lot about this family, and why we never see much from Yuki when she leaves school. She's possibly completely in this family and is not even able to leave at the moment. There was clearly a moment when they saw each other again after the break, that she wanted to say something. I think she wanted to open up maybe about this accident. Which brings me to the accident. So, Yuki was sitting in the car during the accident. So she was aware that it was the car of her family that hit Hiki. She is closer to all of that than we already guessed. And she never talked about it. The question is why. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that is possible. It is not clear for me. I mean, there was an accident. So, did the car leave the scene or did the car stay? Because if the car did stay, then it is with the police and everyone that it is clear who had the accident. If they would have left, that's a crime, you know? Leaving the crime scene. That's a different story then. Because in this case, she would have not said anything because it would be negatively on her family. And she's not allowed to talk about it because politics. Or even if they stayed, maybe she wasn't allowed to talk about it because politics. So like playing it low. So I can see her reasons there. Then we don't know if maybe something else was happening inside the car that we do not know. Maybe we'll learn about that. It might very well be stuff and just, you know, making it up. That she was like saying, drive faster, I have to get to school, or something like that, so that she's at least partially the one that is responsible, or at least feels responsible for the accident. Might be. However, she never talked about it. And the sentence here of Hiki, which shouldn't touch on stuff Yuki doesn't want to touch on. That's a problematic thing. I completely see it. If people have issues, problems, informations, things about their lives that you are aware of, but they never open up about it. Yes, it is rude to push those subjects. Let's say someone has a disease, or someone has an experience which is negative in his or her past. And you know it is inflicting pain to this person, or it is inflicting problems in the life of this person. And this person, however, never opens up out of shame, out of, I don't know, just feeling bad about it, or just not wanting to talk about it. Yes, it is rude to touch those subjects. It is rude to push there. So in general, I would go with what Hiki says. But there are those moments and subjects where it can be good if you touch them, if you push them. Sometimes someone needs a little shove to do something. Finding the right moment, the right words, the best option to do that, and being the right person to talk about it. That's a major one as well. So being close enough to be kind of allowed to touch the subject is the thing you have to find out. So if those are so personal things, I mean, this is partially personal here. It's about an accident, right? But it might be interlinked with family issues. So we don't know. You have to be a good friend. You have to find the right situation, and you have to carefully find the right moment to scratch if it is possible to talk about it. I don't think there's like the ultimate solution for that. I mean, sure, you could go in with what I guess will be Hiki's method, like just an axe and open it up. But that could make things worse. So we will see. However, both Hiki and Yui, I kind of feel downed by the fact that Yuki never talked about it, being aware that it is an important thing in both of their lives. So they feel kind of sad about that and betrayed. And as Hiki later on says, he he even feels like Yuki lied to him. She did not really lie. She didn't talk about it. But I can see why. He when he talks about her in the end of the episode, about what he liked about her, the fact that he feels bad about himself now. He hates himself now. It seems like he put Yuki on a pedestal. Like she's a super being. She's pretty, she's intelligent, she's smart. She has solutions to monitor everything. So put her on a pedestal there, and the fact that she didn't talk about this destroyed his ideal of her. I can see that. We always have to see that no one is ideal. No person is. You can't be. Even Mother Therese would possibly had some dark spots in her life. And that's normal. We all have. We all have good and bad sides, and it's okay like that. We just should try to keep at least a balance, or a bit more on the good side. However, as I said, he feels downed by this, and thus he put her on a pedestal. He hates himself now because he went away from his general negative view of people. So, and I think that's it here. He had, or tries to have, a always negative view on people. Like, don't trust anyone, everyone's a liar, you know? And realizing that Yuki did not lie, but did not tell him everything, not talk about something that was important for him, he realized that he didn't do that for her anymore. So he realized, I broke my own rules, and that's why he hates him now. He hates himself due to that. It's a bit very harsh on yourself, but I see his reasoning. So I'm looking forward to where we're going now. We will have a meeting of the club, and the last thing, the last little point about this accident possibly is in the mix now, and we can just hope that they will talk about it. That's it from me this time. I hope you enjoyed. I know I talked a very, very long time this time, and I feel it. So I will see you next time. Until then, feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. My name is Relax and Panic. Goodbye and out.